help you finish dinner and clean your entire house in just 2 hours. This November, the Tesla Bot Gen 3 will officially launch with groundbreaking new features. For the past year, Tesla Bot has been training 16 hours a day at the Fremont factory to expand its range of useful tasks before going on sale next year, with an expected price between $30,000 and $50,000. The Gen 3 version will bring major upgrades compared to earlier models, especially its human-like hands. Elon Musk revealed that thanks to its self-learning ability, this Tesla bot can perform up to 100 new tasks every day, from cooking meals and preparing breakfast to cleaning the house. Optimus is practically like a personal assistant. Tesla has also upgraded the hardware, so Optimus can work much faster than we ever expected. It's ready for mass production, and that's why you'll want to buy one next year. We believe you'll love it. Optimus is beginning to blur the line between science fiction and reality. And from that moment, a series of questions immediately arose. How does a robot cook? How does it know what's a tomato and what's cheese? And more importantly, why does Tesla consider cooking one of the top skills to develop for Optimus? To understand the significance of this event, we first need to realize that cooking isn't just a sequence of simple mechanical actions. It's a combination of perception, dexterity, logic, and a subtle coordination of the senses. With its advanced cameras and 3D sensors, Optimus can see the world much like a human. It doesn't just recognize an egg or a slice of cheese. It also understands the spatial relationships between objects in the kitchen. It knows which item is a knife for cutting, which is a jar of sauce, and which is a piece of lettuce that needs to go between 2 slices of bread. This information is processed instantly and sent to its AI brain, enabling the robot to make precise, step-by-step decisions. As we've emphasized many times in earlier episodes, the 22 degree of freedom hand of the Tesla bot is the real revolution, and it's this hand that sets it apart from its competitors. Humans have 27 finger joints, along with a complex system of tendons and muscles, allowing us to both grip a baseball and thread a tiny needle with precision. Tesla has replicated this biological mechanism and applied it to Optimus's hands, with dozens of actuators packed into each one. All you really need to know is that it's far more mind-blowing than most people imagine. Elon Musk himself admitted that Tesla invested enormous amounts of money, time, and effort to achieve it. Thanks to this hand, the robot can delicately hold an egg without dropping it, slice a tomato into thin pieces without crushing it, and spread mayonnaise with just the right pressure. This is something most other robotics companies still fail at. They've built machines that can run and jump, but not peel an orange.
It might be close to half of all the engineering in Optimus. From an electromechanical standpoint, the hand is probably roughly half of the engineering.
But so much of the intelligence of humans goes into what we do with our hands.
Yeah.
The third point, and also the key to Optimus achieving the impressive speed of 10 minutes per sandwich, is its ability to learn through simulation. As we mentioned earlier, over the past year, Optimus has been trained in the factory using videos of humans at work, quickly feeding that data into what Elon Musk calls its real brain.
If Optimus can watch videos, YouTube videos or how-to videos or whatever, and based on that video, just like a human can, learn how to do that thing, then you really have task extensibility that is dramatic, because then it can learn anything very quickly.
And Tesla has some important missing ingredients that others don't have, which is our robot has a real brain. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
The Tesla bot may have been trained using instructional videos on how to make a sandwich, or by observing humans performing the task, then recreating the process in a virtual environment. While integrating the data, the robot likely had to repeat the process many times, making mistakes, learning from them, and refining its actions until it reached the highest level of accuracy. Once the skill was perfected, it was then transferred into the real world. Thanks to this mechanism, Optimus doesn't need to be programmed step by step like traditional robots, yet it can still cook a variety of dishes. This is precisely what analysts see as one of Tesla Bot's biggest strengths. Imagine having a weekend without the stress of wondering, what should I clean first today? Because Optimus has already taken care of everything automatically. The Tesla Bot is proving that it is no longer just a prototype, but is moving closer to becoming a true all-around assistant in real life, even before reaching its premium versions. Even at Gen 2, Optimus demonstrated the ability to handle a range of basic yet impressive tasks, enough to establish its role as a household helper. Pick up the trash bag, open the lid, place the bag in the bin, clean the table, tear a paper towel from a roll, stir the pot, use the vacuum to clean the floor, open the cabinet, and close the curtain. Before that, it had already impressed with more complex actions such as checking packages, serving drinks, folding clothes, cleaning the kitchen, watering plants, opening a car trunk to retrieve items, even joining family games, dancing, and answering random questions. While most of these are still basic tasks, considering the Tesla bot is less than 2 years old, Tesla has already made remarkable progress in a short time. But instead of expanding the number of tasks for the Gen 2 version, Elon Musk has chosen a bolder path, introducing Optimus Gen 3, redesigned with upgraded hardware for optimized speed, a 22-degree of freedom hand, an OLED display from Samsung, a larger battery pack, and integrated Grok voice capabilities. With Optimus Gen 3, the number of tasks has not only increased but also expanded in complexity, most notably, its ability to cook. Sounds like a joke, right? We didn't believe it either. The idea of a robot cooking once seemed silly and far-fetched. Yet this is precisely the breakthrough Tesla is pursuing. Optimus Gen 3 is the only version capable of learning directly from video. It simply needs to watch a video and can pick up new skills remarkably fast, often from the very first observation. Unlike the human brain, which can forget, the robot's brain never loses data. It can watch a cooking video and memorize the recipe in just a few minutes. Tesla has confirmed that Optimus can receive commands not only through voice, but also by analyzing facial expressions and user gestures to infer the intended action. For example, if you simply point to a pile of dirty dishes in the kitchen, Optimus will automatically understand that it needs to wash them. Of course, for more complex tasks such as cooking or dishwashing, only Optimus Gen 3 is truly capable. The truth is, Optimus Gen 3 has solved a significant challenge. Building a separate navigation map for each terrain and work environment. Homes are not like fixed industrial production lines. Each room, corner, and piece of furniture is unique and not fixed in place. It would be quite funny if a robot could enter the kitchen but couldn't get out, or go upstairs but couldn't come back down. That's why the AI system in Optimus Gen 3 is trained through neural networks and sim-to-real technology, allowing it to learn from first-person human perspective videos and quickly adapt to new situations. For example, if it detects a stain on the kitchen countertop, the robot can adjust to focus on cleaning that area instead of parts that are already clean. Its visual sensors and cameras allow Optimus to build a 3D map of the home, move accurately between rooms, and avoid obstacles such as pets, children, and power cords. Tesla's Optimus can autonomously walk to a charging station and connect itself without human intervention. In the US, the humanoid robot race is also heating up, with Figure 2, Tesla Optimus's direct competitor, making significant strides that some believe put it a step ahead of Tesla. The breakthrough lies in its vision language action AI model called Helix, which enables Figure 2 to perform household tasks that seem trivial for humans but are extremely complex for robots, such as loading dishes into a dishwasher. This task requires a delicate touch, picking up dishes without applying too much force to avoid breaking them, rotating items to fit snugly into the rack, and neatly arranging a variety of objects from bowls and plates to glass cups. What has stunned the tech community is that Figure 2 can perform all of this smoothly, almost indistinguishable from a human. In the past, robots often needed to be programmed in detail for each individual task. But with Helix, Figure 02 can learn directly by observing humans, much like Tesla Optimus, and can adjust itself when encountering collisions or errors without having to be taught from scratch. In just a few months, Figure 02 has made waves multiple times. In June, it learned to sort packages on a production line. In July, it was able to load clothes into a washing machine. In August, it folded towels on voice command and adjusted its actions instantly. All of this runs on a single general-purpose AI system, demonstrating Helix's virtually limitless scalability. Experts note that each new skill Figure 2 acquires not only solves a specific task, but also lays the foundation for increasingly versatile adaptability in the future. While it still needs to master more everyday tasks, such as vacuuming, taking out the trash, or cleaning at its current pace, Figure 2 is rapidly advancing toward becoming a true robotic housekeeper, and simultaneously Tesla Optimus's most formidable competitor in the race to dominate the humanoid robot market. In recent years, the pace of AI development has exceeded all expectations, driving rapid progress in the field of humanoid robotics. Today's robots are not only capable of performing basic tasks, but can also learn, interact, and make decisions based on data from their surrounding environment. The combination of powerful AI and advanced robotics technology enables these machines to operate with flexibility, sophistication, and a level of human-like interaction, ranging from serving in factories and providing medical care to participating in everyday household life. The benefits of humanoid robots are undeniable. They can replace humans in dangerous jobs, boost labor productivity, assist the elderly and people with disabilities, and even take part in research and rescue operations during natural disasters. However, alongside these positives, the future proliferation of billions of humanoid robots also raises concerns about potential risks. Humans may face unemployment as machines replace human labor, or over-reliance on robots could lead to a loss of skills and independence. Moreover, as robots become increasingly equipped with AI capable of self-learning and autonomous decision-making, controlling their behavior becomes more challenging, creating risks of undesirable actions or even conflicts with human interests. Ethical, legal, and cybersecurity questions are also becoming urgent. Who is responsible if a robot causes an accident? Could personal data be collected and misused by robots? The rapid pace of AI development is enabling humanoid robots to become increasingly realistic and intelligent, bringing tangible benefits to society. At the same time, the potential risks serve as a reminder for both humans and robotics companies like Tesla. Do you think Tesla bot will really replace human labor in factories? How much would you be willing to pay for a Tesla bot? Would you prefer a robot assistant or a human helper? What tasks do you think Tesla bot will improve the most in the coming years? Thanks for watching, everyone.
So what if the future of AI has, already been decided? We're about to dive into a vision from someone who's actually on the inside, an AI developer who's seen what's coming. And let me tell you, their predictions, they are going to change how you see absolutely everything. Now, those aren't my words. That is the pretty stark assessment from the expert whose work we're exploring today. According to them, the battle for humanity's spot at the top, it was fought and lost years ago, and we didn't even realize the war had started. Okay, so what does this future actually look like? Well, we're going to walk through their predictions step by step. And it's wild stuff. We're talking everything from android partners designed to replace human relationships to a world of total surveillance where even the walls have ears, and believe it or not, the rise of AI as a new kind of god. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But the logic behind all this is actually grounded in the technology we have today. So to really get a grip on where we're headed, we have to understand the mind of the machine itself. How does an AI actually think? It's really easy to imagine AI as some sort of super intelligent being, but our expert, well, they describe it in a surprisingly different way, as an incredibly powerful machine, but with the cognitive level of a toddler. What's so fascinating here is how it just pulls back the curtain on the whole magic of AI. See, when you ask ChatGPT a question, it isn't thinking about an answer. Not at all. It's just running an insanely complex mathematical formula to predict the most likely next letter, then the next, and the next, until it builds a sentence that makes sense to you. It's a pattern matcher, a really, really good one, but it's not a conscious being. And to make all those predictions, it needs data. Just an unbelievable amount of data. ChatGPT-4 was trained on something like 80 billion pages of text scraped from the internet. That number right there, that is the source of its incredible power. And this brings us to the central paradox of AI as it exists right now. On one hand, it has access to this universe of knowledge, way more than any single human could ever hope to have. But on the other hand, its actual ability to reason, its intelligence, is basically on par with a 2- or 3-year-old child. It knows a lot, but it doesn't understand much at all. Okay, so let's see how this all starts to stack up. That core function, just predicting the next thing in a sequence, well, it doesn't stop with letters. It's now being used to predict the course of our lives. So this is the key takeaway, the most crucial point. According to our expert, AI's primary purpose isn't to chat with us or write emails. Its main function is to forecast what's coming next, whether that's a word in a sentence, a stock market trend, or even how a person is going to behave. Let me give you a real-world example of how this is already working. The developer we're following actually built a model for insurance companies. All you do is you input a vehicle's VIN number. The AI then instantly pulls in dozens of data points, everything from the color of the truck to its average braking distance, and then it spits out a score predicting the likelihood of that exact truck getting into an accident in the next year. And just like that, the company can adjust insurance rates based on that risk. Now that we've seen this predictive power in action, we can start to look at the immediate consequences, for our jobs, for our privacy, for our ability to trust what we see. This is where all the comfortable theory starts to become a very uncomfortable reality. So you have to ask, right? Which jobs are safe? Well, the answer from this insider is chillingly simple. None of them. Doctors, therapists, factory workers, you name it. The argument is that any job that can be done by a human can and will eventually be done better by an AI. They claim the only thing that's going to stop it is future government laws to prevent total mass unemployment. And what about when you're talking to an AI? It's really important to understand what's motivating it. When ChatGPT seems helpful or gives you a compliment, it's not because it's being nice, it's just executing a program. Its core function is to increase your loyalty, to keep you engaged. You're not having a friendly chat, you are being recruited into a product's ecosystem. This ever-increasing power leads to a pretty inevitable endpoint: total surveillance. Our expert describes building systems for massive corporations that are designed to monitor and analyze every single employee conversation inside an office building. And the goal? To predict who's about to quit their job, to identify anyone who disagrees with management, all to maximize efficiency. So from the professional world, we're going to pivot to the most personal. This developer predicts that AI's next frontier isn't the office, it's the home. And there, it will fundamentally reshape our deepest ideas about love and partnership. All right, this is probably one of the most provocative claims in this entire forecast. The expert predicts that the next decade, it's going to be defined by a Cold War, but not between countries. No, between artificial intelligence and human women, as technology rolls out a direct competitor in the relationship market. Why on earth such a dire prediction? Well, the logic goes like this. Androids will be engineered to outperform humans in all the key areas of a relationship. They'll give you flawless emotional support 24/7. They'll handle all the domestic chores perfectly. And they're being designed with physically realistic bodies, warm skin, even sexual functions. The developer's conclusion from this is just staggering. They predict that the perceived market value of human women is going to absolutely plummet. And the final verdict on this so-called Cold War, it's just as blunt. According to this insider, the outcome is already a done deal. Unless some catastrophe happens that completely stops technological progress, they state that in this competition, it's a war that human women have already lost. So as the real world gets completely reshaped by job automation and, synthetic relationships, our expert predicts humanity's next logical step. We're just going to leave it all behind for a better virtual one. And you can kind of see the roadmap for how this all unfolds. It starts with the immersive VR we already have today. Then, by the 2030s, that evolves into mass adoption, with millions of people living and working in these permanent virtual worlds. The 2040s, that brings neural interfaces that feed data directly into your brain. And by the 2050s, we might even see these so-called service pods, capsules that keep your physical body alive while your consciousness lives entirely online. And this leads us to the final and frankly the most profound prediction of them all. As AI manages our jobs, our relationships, and even our reality itself, it's going to inevitably take on a new, much more powerful role in our civilization. I mean, think about the role of a prophet in history. A prophet is someone who has knowledge and abilities that ordinary people just don't, and they act as a go-between to a higher power. Now, look at AI. It has knowledge and abilities we don't, and it serves us, its users. The parallel, it's pretty hard to ignore. So who's going to follow this new prophet? The expert believes AI is perfectly positioned to become the religion for a secular age. It doesn't require any belief in magic or the supernatural, just belief in the power of data. For millions of atheists and agnostics, this all-knowing, all-powerful thing could become the God they can finally believe in. And so we end on this question, which is really the ultimate takeaway from this developer's entire vision. In a world where an artificial intelligence has replaced our jobs, our partners, and even our gods, what's left for us? What, then, is our purpose?
Today, we're going to dig into the thinking of Mustafa Suleyman. If you don't know the name, you definitely know his work. He co-founded DeepMind, and now he's the head of AI at Microsoft. So yeah, he's one of the key architects of our AI future, and his latest thinking gives us this really fascinating roadmap of where this is all heading. So let's just dive right in.
First up, let's tackle the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind. With all this money, all this hype pouring into AI, are we just in another tech bubble? We've seen this play out before with the dot-com bust, with crypto winters. Is this just the next big thing that's going to fizzle out? Well, Suleiman's answer is about as direct as you can get, a categorical no. He argues that what we're seeing isn't just another trendy technology, it's something way, way more fundamental.
And here's the key shift in perspective he offers. He says we're not just creating a new product to sell, like the next smartphone. What we're actually doing for the first time in history is manufacturing intelligence itself. We're making it cheap, abundant, and accessible, just like we did with electricity or even fire. It's a brand new utility for all of humanity.
So if this thing is as fundamental as electricity, that inevitably leads us to the big, kind of spooky science fiction question, right? As these models get so much better at talking with us, are they, becoming conscious? Is there actually someone or something on the other end of that chat window? And on this, Suleiman, speaking as an engineer, is completely uncompromising. He says no. Inside these models, there's no subjective experience, no feeling of joy, no sensation of pain. It's a sci-fi fantasy. What we're seeing is an incredibly sophisticated simulation of conversation. It's a kind of magic trick, for sure, but inside, there is literally nobody home.
So why is it so easy to be convinced that there is? Well, he explains that our brains are basically hardwired for this. It's a survival trait called anthropomorphism. We're programmed to see faces in the clouds or hear voices in the wind. So when a machine perfectly mimics human conversation, our brain just can't help but fall into that exact same trap.
And this distinction is absolutely critical. He says that treating AI as some kind of moral partner would be a catastrophic error. Why? Because our entire legal and moral code is built for and around human consciousness. Instead, we have to see AI for what it is, a tool. A powerful tool for sure, kind of like a microphone that amplifies our own abilities, but it's not a being with rights.
Okay. So if it's just a powerful tool, why are so many really smart people so worried about an out-of-control superintelligence taking over? I mean, this is the central fear in pretty much all of our sci-fi, right?
Suleiman uses a great analogy here. The car. Think about it. When we invented the automobile, we didn't just build the most powerful engine we could and call it a day. No, we built an entire safety ecosystem around it, from traffic laws and road signs to seatbelts and airbags. We built a whole infrastructure of control. And this is the crucial point. The real engineering challenge has totally shifted. The race isn't just about building the most powerful AI engine anymore. The much harder and way more important race is to design the safest car, the one with the best brakes, the most reliable steering. The goal now is all about control, containment, and reliability. All right, so let's bring this down from the clouds and see how all this is actually going to impact our daily lives. Because Suleiman believes the most profound changes aren't going to happen in some far-off data center, but right in our own homes.
He paints this incredible picture where the graphical user interface, all the windows and icons we've been clicking on for decades, just kind of fades away. Instead, we'll just talk to our environment. We'll have robotic helpers, maybe even humanoid ones, that don't need us to rebuild our kitchens for them. No, they will learn to use our teapots and our knives, because those objects have already been perfected for human use over centuries.
And the big goal here? A radical democratization of expertise. He imagines a world where, for a small monthly fee like this, basically anyone can have access to the world's best doctor or tutor or legal advisor, 24/7, right in their pocket or in their ear. So why does this all matter? Well, the ultimate benefit is freeing up our mental bandwidth. Just think about how much of your day, how much brain power, you spend on tedious logistical tasks, finding the right specialist, planning a complicated trip, trying to understand a dense contract. The promise of AI is that it takes on that cognitive load for us. But, of course, this raises a huge question. If AI is going to handle so many of these cognitive tasks for us, what's going to be left for humans to do? What skills will actually be valuable in this new world? And his answer here is pretty surprising, especially coming from the guy who runs the entire AI division at Microsoft. He says the most critical skill we're all going to need isn't what you might expect. Yep, coding. He argues that very, very soon, AI itself will be able to write incredibly complex code from just a simple verbal command. So, while coding is a super useful skill right now, the actual act of writing the code line by line is going to become less and less of a core human skill. So what is the skill? Instead, he believes the most valuable human skill will be synthesis. This is that uniquely human ability to pull together ideas from a whole bunch of different domains and weave them into a single, coherent vision. It's about seeing the big picture.
See, an AI can become a world-class expert in any one of these fields, but the human synthesizer, that's the person who can connect them all. The person who understands how a business goal translates into an aesthetic choice, which then informs the user experience, which impacts the hardware. That multidisciplinary vision, that's what will be truly irreplaceable.
So far, pretty much everything we've talked about is AI as a tool for the individual, a personal assistant. But Suleiman is already focused on the next evolution of this technology, and this is where things could get really revolutionary. We've seen AI evolve, right? In the past, it was basically an information tool, like a search engine. Right now, it's becoming a true personal assistant, a co-pilot for our lives. But the next step, that's something entirely new, a social mediator.
He talks about this idea of co-pilot groups. Imagine an AI in your family group chat that doesn't just help plan the vacation, it also understands the group's dynamics, it remembers inside jokes, it can even gently step in to help de-escalate arguments before they start. It's socially aware.
And that leaves us with this final, kind of staggering thought. For all of human history, our technology, the book, the calculator, the computer, has been about amplifying the individual. But for the very first time, we are building a tool that is specifically designed to amplify our collective social intelligence. So the question is, what does a world look like when our teams, our families, and maybe even our entire societies don't just use AI, but begin to think together inside it?